You ready? Are they ready? They're ready. You are? Okay, Mr. McCarthy.
All right. Morning, everyone. January 8th, Town Board Work Session, all members present.
Okay, to start off, there's a site plan on the agenda. I don't see planning here, so I assume it's actually to remove one of the conditions and a waiver.
Yeah.
So we'll be
Very
doing
minor.
that at 2 o'clock. I also have our controller, Mr. Musnug, and Paul Robano here. Jim want to come up, they're gonna inform the board on the risk management program and some recommendations and how it's going. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Supervisor. Good morning, members of the town board.
Good morning, Don.
Don Mustard, Controller of the town, and Paul Rubano, Principal Analyst. Paul submitted a summary of the risk program that he's been implementing over the past couple of years and to the supervisor, and it was a summary of the results. And the supervisor thought that it would be a good approach to have Paul explain it to the members of the board, because he'll be explaining the results and also requesting some guidance and some future actions of the members of the town board. I will say that Paul has worked very diligently on this, along with a new employee, Catherine Borowski, who's worked also as a health, what was her title?
Health and Safety Assistant.
Health and Safety Assistant. And this is, the whole program has been under the direction of Paul, and he's really, in my opinion, done a terrific job, and I think you'll reach that same conclusion after his presentation. So, Paul, would you like to speak about it?
Sure, thanks, Don. So I wanted to review the previous initiative, the risk management initiative, a little bit, and also, as Don said, request some support for a second phase of enhancements to the program. And before I get into where we are now, I would like to give the town board a little bit of a background of where we started in 2016 and prior. So at that point, the town had kind of a disjointed risk management program, and that resulted in a high number of workers' comp claims with increased severity in the claims.
Increase what?
Severity, that means,
I know.
okay, I'm sorry. So in the 5 years between 2012 and 2017, insurance premiums for the town had increased nearly 68%. Reaching a peak in 2017 of $2.6 million. So at that point, the board made a decision to address that issue and supported a number of actions which were implemented. The town invested in, as Don said, the hiring of a full-time health and safety assistant. We implemented centralized and uniform reporting and procedures. We also started to centralize the data that was collected and use that data to analyze and focus the town's resources, and implemented town-wide employee training, including specialized training based on the claims that we were seeing. In addition to that, we focused on return to work coordination, which is really getting employees the medical care that they're entitled to under workers' comp and getting them back to work as quickly as possible. As a result of these actions, there's been a dramatic decrease from the 2017 peak. Premiums have decreased approximately 23%, resulting in cumulative savings of $600,000. There's a 16% decrease in the average number of claims in the 2 years since the program has been implemented, when we compare that to the 3 years prior, which that's on average about 65 claims a year versus the prior was 78. Additionally, the severity of claims has decreased dramatically by about 49%. Although this is remarkable progress, we still have a long way to go. Our goal with the risk management program is to reduce the number of injuries as close to zero as possible, and to make sure that all town employees are able to come home every day just the way they started, completely healthy. So with that in mind, there are a couple of enhancements that I'd like to ask the board to support. The first one is the establishment of a risk management committee to proactively address safety concerns and review prior claims so that we can implement corrective actions. And if the board is inclined to do that, I'd like to have a board resolution put onto the agenda. We'd also like to increase our line supervisor safety training, which would be implemented by our health and safety assistant, and also produce and distribute a comprehensive safety manual, which is also in development by the health and safety assistant. Are there any questions about the presentation?
Yeah, well, on the establishment of the committee, who would you, these are the departments that you would include, that you have listed here, be part of this committee? I mean,
I'm
who
sorry.
would you,
The members of the committee would be departments that have a history of frequent claims, or
Manual labor departments.
those are the high-risk departments. So we would have representatives from those departments, I believe, as well as union representation would be appropriate also at the meeting, myself and the health and safety assistant, and a town board member if one would choose to do so.
okay? The supervisor in training, I assume you're talking about the line foreman, the foreman that are out in the
Correct.
field,
The,
correct?
the line foremen, they're really the key to a safety program.
Right, I agree.
But Does
And-
does the union get involved in any of these, creating a safety committee, or they're okay with you just? Because sometimes unions, they may want to help create a safety manual. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I don't see why they would be opposed to making a safer environment.
I mean, would they want to be part of it, of the creating
I
of
would
the
hope,
safety manual?
I would hope that they would want to participate in that process, and I think it's appropriate to have them.
I didn't know if you were finished tonight.
No, that's okay,
Okay.
no, that's fine.
I think if they're willing, it would be appropriate to have them on a risk management
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah, right.
So maybe what you can do, if you wanna form the committee by resolution, maybe you can come up with maybe you can do some research with those departments, and then recommend to the board who you feel would be the proper personnel to put on that committee.
Workplace rules and regulations would probably be necessary, and we would certainly want the union's support as well
Yeah.
Right.
in implementing those rules and regulations and, and training of the supervisors and staff. I mean, I think that's what's key to reducing the severity and the number of claims out there, is to train the line supervisors in parks,
Right.
highway, beaches, places like that.
The database that you created to track these claims, workers' comp claims, who has access to that database?
Only myself and the health and safety assistant who collects the information.
Okay, and so that's tying to basically claims frequency, I'm assuming is one of the components from the analytical side. My question then now, do you have access to the National Insurance Crime Bureau database specific to claims, insurance claims, whether in the public sector or private? Do you have access to that?
We don't have access to that. We do have a TPA, a third-party administrator for our claims. So they actually, once the claim is made, our TPA actually handles the processing of that claim.
Who is our TPA?
That's Right Risk Management.
And do they have that access?
Yes, they have access to that, as well as I believe it's called the Lens system.
Well, that's a little bit different. The National
Yeah.
Insurance Crime Bureau is very specific, and I don't think they would have access. Matter of fact, I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
Because it's proprietary, it's normally to governmental agencies and law enforcement. But again, there is some people that like to take liberties with the process, so I want to make sure that if I can't get you specifically to have access, maybe someone in the Department of Public Safety where they can utilize that database just for another cross-reference to ensure. I think it would be prudent to have that. And then the comment that I would have with your training, they have a very robust training platform that they would actually send investigators, agents out, and they would assist with that, so they could work hand in hand with our safety coordinator.
That would certainly be an enhancement, and actually, now that you mentioned the National Insurance Crime Bureau,
I know a little
it's-
bit about
yeah, I see that. But I actually attended a couple trainings that they put on, and where I worked previously, and they were very good. They were actually excellent.
Yeah, they'd be more than willing to do that, but for me, the key part would be the ability to cross-reference what we're seeing with what they may already have. And that goes across a lot of the platforms associated with, to include the providers of the service, you know, the
Yeah,
medical side.
right. No, that's a real
Yeah.
issue that I've
Yes.
dealt with in the past as well.
And that's where you get a lot of liberties being taken.
When you kicked off your program, you also had training from our insurance carrier. Do you want to elaborate on that?
We did. Our insurance carrier does a number of loss control activities, including providing no-cost training sessions on specific topics. So they're a real resource for us, and they also provide model training, or if we have a question about what the best practice is
Right.
with our health and safety assistant developing the training, they assist. So they've been very helpful in that regard.
No, I think you're doing a great job, and it's a big reduction.
Well, it's really, the credit goes obviously to the board for supporting it, and for employees for taking in the training, and to our health and safety assistant, Catherine Borowski, who's really did a great job implementing. You know, a plan is great, but if no one's there to implement it, it's
The
not,
execution.
right, the execution's got to be there.
No, excellent work,
Thank you.
all right? Maybe you can get with Councilman Loman when you start to put
Right.
things together, and on his recommendation,
Right.
maybe you can go over that. And then if you supply us with who you feel are the right personnel for that committee, let us know, and we'll get it on the agenda right away.
Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
gentlemen.
Thank you for your continued support.
Anybody, that's all I have. Lynn, you have
You
anything?
know, actually, I just want to bring up two things. Good things. The first one I want to know about is, I'm getting back to creating the, thank you, anti-bias task force.
Mhm.
I've met with Bill Holtz, who used to chair it. He's certainly willing to be back on the committee. He has met with somebody yesterday that has a list of people that were. But I wanted, you had recommended somebody, I wanted to ask the town board if anybody has a recommendation for the anti-bias task force. We are now going full speed ahead at creating it. I met with Reverend Barrett, Rabbi Morse. I think what we're looking for, it's not just religion, it's anti-bias in any way.
Mhm.
You know, the gay and lesbian community, bullying, anything that you can think of. If you have someone, let me know. The committee should be about 6 or 7 people. It's been kind of hard to get it together. It's been sleeping for a while.
Right.
And
How many do we have now?
2 or 3, maybe
Okay.
4. But
So we need a-
we can get, I met with somebody else also, we can get probably who was on the committee before. But I think if we want to resurrect it with a little more enthusiasm, and I can't think of her name in the county, what they're doing mostly, and Lisa might be familiar with this, is they're going into schools. They have a program. It's a program that's going to go into the high schools. So if you have anybody, let me know, and we can talk about that. I don't think it's a lot of work, but it's a good program. And I think we have to do that by town law, correct?
Well, we established the committee, yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's in the making. And then I just wanted to mention one other thing, and I was talking to Tommy, Councilman McCarthy, about it. And also, any ideas? In May, I want to do a, what did we call it? A senior citizens fair. Now, I know Laura does a lot of things, but I want to include, and if you guys have any ideas, I mean, I want anybody there that can help the senior citizens navigate the system, learn what they're entitled to, whether it's the police department, or human services, or social services, or Medicaid, or Medicare, assessor's office. If you think of anything, I'm gonna work with Laura, and of course, it'll be the town board. We'll all sponsor that if you guys are, and we'll do that in May. So if you have any ideas.
You're gonna have that at the seniors center?
Yes,
Okay, good.
we're gonna have it at the
Excellent.
Eugene Kenatara Senior Citizen Center.
I stand corrected.
You know, just so you know, just saying. But
I know him well.
Yes, I know
Good
you
man.
did. Yes, he was. So,
Yeah, let's-
again, any ideas in both of those? You know, it's a new year.
Okay.
We'll have some.
You might be able to
with
have
Bobby.
some with the police department, which
Yeah,
might be
and then
helpful.
with Bobby Forte with Team Dog, he has a program that he's been pushing for many, many years. It's a cartoon characters. It's all about
Yeah, he's great.
cyberbullying, it's all about bullying in
Oh,
schools.
for the task force.
Yep.
Oh,
He
great.
would be, and he brings the law enforcement component to it, plus he goes to the schools, he's put his whole heart into it, so I think he would be outstanding.
Well, you'll give me his name and address.
Nicole
I'll write
has
his.
all his contacts. 'cause
Okay, we'll
We
do
had a
that.
meeting with him, just get it from
Yeah.
Nicole. Good idea, he'd be great
Yeah.
on that task force.
I mean, we have many communities people don't realize in Smithtown. I mean, whether it's the Muslim community, the black, white, green, blue, whatever, you know, and cyberbullying and anything like that.
Yeah.
Anything could be biased. in
I would
any
get that
way.
from, Nicole has all
Okay.
his contact
That,
information.
thank you, Councilman. I think working together we'll come up with a good task force within our code. Okay.
Anything else?
I mean, I'm just creating all the time. I just don't know what to do.
Excellent. Mr. McCarthy?
Just to let everybody know, tomorrow is the first meeting of this year, 2019, for the rewrite of the master plan. It's the second one we've had. It's an ongoing large process. The firms that we've hired are doing a phenomenal job, and that's coming along, as well as every Wednesday will be also is, and has been, the Lake Avenue revitalization. And we're expecting those bids to be returnable, I think, this Thursday on the sewer stuff, and also with the town attorneys to help. We're in the middle of rewriting all the town codes and looking at all the codes that currently are ineffective and rewriting those. So that's all going very well, with thanks to everybody's support.
Good. Where,
Without
the
making
planning,
it up,
is this at the planning department?
That's the company.
Where's the meeting with the comprehensive way here?
Tomorrow is here, but I'm
Boardroom?
planning because we got renovations going on, start next month, so we'll just move them over
It's
there.
gonna be here.
Okay,
After
but tomorrow it's in here?
Yes.
Okay,
I think it's
With
gonna-
Lake Avenue, are they planning to close sections of it, running?
that's what we're working
Yeah,
on.
that's
Yeah.
the plan, yes.
We're gonna,
Maybe
Wednesday
where
is
they
10
can
o'clock
enter
here?
through the side streets?
we're gonna attempt to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just
know,
to-
and the town
Once we get the bids back,
That's
the next step will be to go after the engineering firm, let them bid on the oversight of the
I'm
project,
sorry.
and then we're gonna look at
So it's
that.
both, okay.
I could see,
We can,
everybody wants it, but I could see.
well, we're gonna have to do it, we'll have to have it done that way. I don't think we can just take all Lake up and
Oh, I don't
and
think
close
so.
it all off. So
We
it's
get
a
any
3
answers
to
on the
4 month
parking over
project.
there, on that building?
The building, we've had no response.
Note from the landlord?
Yes.
He just wants to sit there and let that look like.
The planning department's identified multiple properties behind the stores, and they're in the process of contacting all the owners to see if they want to join in connecting parking lots in a lease, $1 a year lease like we have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's.
That would be great.
That's going along very well.
I'm gonna get to crash that.
Anything else?
We're good.
Mr. Zarello?
Nope.
Mr. Loman?
That's it.
Okay, I have specific personnel matters for executive. I have Eileen coming over, so move to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Oh my God, why doesn't this phone ring?
Okay, I move to close the executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to close the work session this morning.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.